Hospice is not a place, it is a concept. It is about compassionate care at end of life. The goal of hospice care is to join the patient and their family on a journey. It is a journey that no one should take alone. That's part of our core belief and has been the foundation of our ministry since the very beginning. The thousands of patients and families we've served through the years have become part of our family. The story of hospice ministries has been written by our patients, our families, physicians, staff, volunteers, and so many more, who have been a part of something very special. This is our story.
My name is Sadie Brister. I'm an employee here at Hospice Ministries. As a matter of fact, I'm one of the nurses here. I've been with Hospice Ministries for 27 of the 30 years. The most rewarding part of being here at Hospice is being able to interact with the patients as well as the family. We develop a bond and we become more like family. We don't just leave them here when we go home sometimes. We take them with us in our hearts. And being able to experience the one-on-one as well as being able to come together with them on a spiritual as well as emotional level, it gives me great joy. We are fortunate to have visionaries here at Hospice who are continually planning to provide a better hope for the future when it comes to hospice and the palliative care. The nurses, the doctors, the chaplains, the social workers, they're all very caring and compassionate people, looking out for the best interests of the patient as well as keeping the families involved. So we become one team. We're all shooting for the same goal. Everyone deserves a happy life-end experience. And here at Hospice, that's what we're known to do. And that's what sets Hospice apart. My heart is here at Hospice, so forever, Hospice I will be.
When I was practicing as a medical oncologist 30 years ago or more, I had a conversation with Dan Broughton about how patients at the end of life were not getting the care that they needed. There were patients who had chronic heart disease or lung disease, and people just did not know how to take care of them when they got to the point that they did not need any more aggressive therapy. So I talked with them about hospice, and at that time, nobody really knew what a hospice was. But with Dan's knowledge of business and my knowledge of taking care of patients at the end of life, we started a hospice. And 30 years ago, we started Hospice of Central Mississippi. We started a home hospice so patients could be at home surrounded by their family, their friends, and the things that they treasure most. In the early 90s, the only way that a patient could receive hospice care was to be at home. And at that time, the HIV/AIDS epidemic was in full force, and many times patients' families did not want them to come home if they had the virus. And so organizations got together, particularly the Methodist Conference, the Episcopal Diocese, and the Catholic Diocese, and they formed the Ecumenical Healthcare Organization. And this group knew that patients who had HIV needed a place to go. So the organization got together and utilized a former nursing home in South Jackson on Raymond Road called Whispering Pines. So in 1991, Whispering Pines opened as a place to take care of patients at the end of life who had no home to go to or maybe no family who could take care of them. It eventually evolved so that a lot of HIV and AIDS patients were taken care of there. Dr. William Causey was the medical director and stayed at Whispering Pines the whole time that Whispering Pines existed, and was very instrumental in educating the community and family members about HIV and how to take care of those patients. Around 1992, I was approached by Dot Cannon, who was with the Willing Heart Circle associated with King's Daughters Hospital in Brookhaven, about starting a hospice there. Through her leadership, as well as the community who embraced hospice and hospice care, we were able to start a branch in Brookhaven. And we still have that branch today, and it's very successful serving patients in the Brookhaven area. About 1997, Whispering Pines Hospice, who was acting as an inpatient hospice, and Hospice of Central Mississippi, who was a home hospice, joined together to form Hospice Ministries. Dr. Causey continued on as the director of the inpatient unit, and I managed the patients who were at home. During that time, it was felt that a new facility was needed, so a facility was built in Richland, and in 1999 we had our dedication for Hospice Ministries. And we're still here today, serving many patients and families.
One of the many facets of hospice care is coping and dealing with grief and healing after the death of a loved one. Regardless of the age or surrounding circumstances of a death, grief can overwhelm a family, and that's why grief counseling is a large part of what we do at Hospice Ministries. The McLean Fletcher Center opened in 1999 when Kathy Woodliff approached the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese, who was also on the board of Hospice Ministries. She felt the strong need for grief care for children as a result of her own life experiences and the death of a teenager named McLean Fletcher, whose father was the CEO of Hospice Ministries. The community had just suffered her loss 2 years earlier when she died in a car crash. The timing was right to create a center that was specific to grief counseling for adolescents. The McLean Fletcher Center is a viable and valuable part of the Jackson community today, and it serves more than 160 families every year.
I'm Donna R. Evans. I'm one of the social workers here at Hospice, and I've been here 23 years. I absolutely love it. Why do I love my job? It's because people give me a chance to take the journey with them. People don't trust you or anybody with their loved ones. It has to be someone they feel comfortable with. So when they let us on this journey, I am thrilled beyond words. One of the things that I love about working with hospice is especially the inpatient facilities when families come here. Why do I love that? It's because when they come here, they get to be the family again. In the home, they focus on the caregiving, the feedings, the meds, but here they get to be the wife again, the daughter again, the son, the grandchild. One of my pride and joy parts of my job is the fact that I get to go out and speak about hospice ministries. I get to tell everybody about how wonderful they are. I already know we're wonderful, but the opportunity to share it with everybody else is amazing.
I had a sister that was diagnosed with cancer. It started in her sinuses and then metastasized to several different places and ended up metastasizing to her liver. And when they told us there was nothing else we could do, they suggested hospice care. So we just started seeking out someone that could help us. When the hospice team comes in, they just become a part of your family. And to journey with someone through that time in their life is such a sacred time.
30 years ago, when I started Hospice Ministries, or at that time Hospice of Central Mississippi, I never thought that I would still be here 30 years later taking care of patients at the end of life. But it's what I do, and it's what I like to do. It's my ministry. I may not be able to go out on the mission field or do mission trips, but I can be here and be with these patients and their families as they walk this journey to the end of their life.